Welcome to the MLB Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Mo Nawara in the Midwest. And we are back here on a Wednesday night slate here in the MLB. A couple games to choose from, some decent day games as well, but we always do like to bring you those night games so we can make sure we get you these videos out early enough. I want you to make sure you do head to thelines.com as well. Make sure you're checking out all the great content that Mo and the gang have on there, coming to you all summer long. And make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. We are bringing you these videos each and every weekday of this MLB regular season. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. I'm going to skip over those day game lines as we are focused on these nighttime ones. Kick things off here with the first game. We've got the Mets, David Peterson taking on the Reds, Graham Ashcraft, plus 145 for the Reds on that one, minus 170 for the Mets. We got the Angels and the Marlins in Miami. Shohei Ohtani means it's time to probably bet on the Angels. Taking on Trevor Rogers probably means it's time to bet against the Marlins. Then we've got the Yankees and Luis Severino on the mound against Mitch Keller. The Yanks are minus 195 in Pittsburgh. The Nats, Josiah Gray taking on Aaron Nola, and the Phils in Philly. Philly major favorites there, minus 225. The Rangers, Glenn Otto on the mound against the Orioles, Spencer Watkins in Baltimore, minus 110, pretty much even on both sides there. The Rays, Corey Kluber is taking on Brayan Bello in Boston, minus 25 for the Sox at home there. The Cards, Miles Mikolas and Max Fried taking on the Braves. The Braves are in Atlanta, minus 170 on the money line there for the Braves, the pitching matchup. Brad Keller and the Royals are in Houston taking on Christian Javier and the Astros, minus 280. Heavy favorites are the Stros. The Giants, Alex Cobb taking on Merrill Kelly and the Diamondbacks in Arizona, minus 125 for the Gigantes there. And finishing things off, last game of the night, Jose Urena and the Rockies are in LA taking on the Dodgers. Mitch White, minus 320, huge favorites for the Doyers at home. But we are kicking things off in this one with that Angels and Marlins game. We've got Shohei Ohtani on the mound, as I mentioned. Obviously, a huge pitching matchup with one of these MVP, Cy Young. However, how do you give Ohtani any of the awards this year? Whichever one you want, he'll be in the race. But Trevor Rogers struggling as well, mightily. So tell me what you're looking at in this one, Mo.
Just give Ohtani all the awards. It's the only thing the Angels are going to win this year. I did click the Angels here back on Ohtani. I thought the market had caught up with Ohtani. I was the only one I felt like believing that Ohtani was truly very elite pitcher for the first couple of months of the season. But then it seemed like the market bought in. He's been tremendous since then, rewarding all of the bettors who have been backing him. He's just maintaining his otherworldly numbers basically from early in the season when I was all over him. He's got a 2.55 SIERA, still 32.4% called strike plus whiff rate. I just think Trevor Rogers is significantly worse here. So I'm back on the Angels, minus 160. Rogers, he had an amazing rookie season and he's just been really struggling. 4.83 xERA, 4.7 SIERA. So his peripherals are really validating his struggles. His swinging strikes have crashed. He was 14% last year, which is elite, like close to Max Scherzer territory. This year, he's at 10.9. And then the walks have just been a huge issue. And I think that could bite him here because the Angels do have a very disciplined lineup, bottom 5 in outside the zone swing percentage. And one thing you always want to look at with Trevor Rogers starts is, what does the other team do against the changeup? It's by far his best pitch. And as far as the Angels go, they're right around league average. I think that's good enough when you have this big of a pitching mismatch with Ohtani being quite a bit better than Rogers and the Marlins lineup being banged up right now. No Jazz Chisholm, no Jorge Soler, so that's two of their best hitters. It's a decent amount of dent in the lineup right now from these injuries.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is pretty simple. I mean, even if Ohtani wasn't on the mound for the Angels, you might consider them with how bad Rogers has been. He's not only been super bad, all season with that ERA and WHIP super high. In June, that's only gone up. His ERA above 7 so far in this month, and then since last month rather. And then on the road there, he just pitiful, that ERA, at home as well. So plenty to like for the Angels in this one as they face the Marlins. But let's move on to the next game we've got here, Mo. We've got the Rangers. Even it's -110 for them in Baltimore. Both teams sitting there at -110 on the money line. A couple of pitchers that you'd normally like to fade in Glenn Otto and Spencer Watkins, neither necessarily having a killer season. Otto's been okay as of late. There's been a couple starts that haven't looked as bad, but I think this is probably a case of betting against the Orioles as much as you're betting on the Rangers. Am I right in that one?
Yeah, it's basically just two bad pitchers, but Glenn Otto has at least had some good play in the past. He had a 3.17 FIP last year, and the computers, it's basically a bet on the computers more than anything. The projections much more so believe in Otto. They have him right around replacement level, which I think is about right. He might be a hair better than that, but they're way, way less impressed with Spencer Watkins, who I've considered maybe the worst starter in baseball since beginning of last season. The computers strongly agree with me. Some of them have him close to like a 6 ERA, which is numbers you just don't generally see from the projections because they mash everything toward the middle. And yeah, one good thing about Otto today, I do think his biggest weakness might be somewhat mitigated by the Orioles lineup. The walks have been atrocious from Otto. He's got like a 14% walk rate, which is just as bad as it gets. But the Orioles do not have a very disciplined lineup. Third highest outside the zone swing rate, fourth lowest walk rate. And a couple question marks in their lineup too. Austin Hayes and Ryan Mountcastle both sat yesterday. I think Mountcastle's going to play. I'm not sure about Hayes though. He hurt his wrist, so I feel like he's probably going to sit. So I do think Texas should be like closer to -120, -125 here. So I do think a little bit of value on the Rangers. It's not exciting to click on Glenn Otto, but I did it.
But it is exciting to win money. So, if you find the edge there, I do think you have a little bit. That's a bit of what we're talking about here is finding those edges today, especially it seems like in those pitching matchups where there's just a few matchups really that favor guys that you might be able to find that value because it is a matchup situation, especially as the one we're talking about here for the Rangers. So last one here we have on the slate for us, Mo, is the Gigantes. As I said, -130 are the Giants in Arizona, rather. Sort of fading Merrill Kelly here. You also have to feel pretty decent about the fact that, Alex Cobb has looked a lot better since he's come back. He had a little stint there on the IL, but only allowed about 5 runs or so across about 13 or 14 innings of work since then. The Giants really, really need him in the middle/bottom of that rotation. I think he's come back pretty well for them. They've also played just incredibly well against these D-backs, 10-3 in their last 13 games in Arizona. And the D-backs are just getting completely picked on this year by that NL West, which is super potent. As we know, 3-14 in their last 17 games against the division, which is precisely why they sit in that basement there. But I do think that there's some value here for Alex Cobb, despite the fact that Merrill Kelly has had a few good starts in a row. This isn't quite as good of a matchup for him. So tell me what you're looking at in this nightcap.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately fading my guy Merrill Kelly. It doesn't make me happy, but sometimes you have to, I guess. And this is, I think, the first time I've fired against him in quite some time, at least this entire season. I just can't recall fading Kelly here. But I do think a little bit of value on the Giants. Again, there's an injury factor in the lineup, but it's in the positive side. Giants are getting some of their lefty hitters back here. It's pretty important. Brandon Belt has come back a couple of weeks ago. Brandon Crawford just came back. And Lamont Wade just came back from injury. So he's hitting at the top of the lineup, 125 WRC plus versus right-handers. He's a pure platoon guy. So very important to have him back since he's leading off. So, I think just getting all these key lefties back, you look at these offenses, the Giants, I think, are going to hit right-handed pitching better than the numbers say. And even if you just look at what the numbers say, they've been quite a bit better than Arizona this year. And then Alex Cobb has just been amazing all season, really. I mean, poor ERA early on, but just pure bad luck. Even regressing to his projections, which are around 3.7 ERA, I still think he's a decent amount better than Merrill. I think he's probably better than his projections. 3.01 Sierra at 30% called strike plus whiff rate. I mean, these are elite numbers, and even a negative launch angle. He's just doing everything right. I I think he's just like honestly might be an elite pitcher at this point. He's definitely pitching like one so far this year. Even if he's halfway between that and where the projections think, he's got quite a bit of an edge over Maryland. And like I said, their offense is quite a bit better. I had them like more like minus 140 here. So I do think this is like probably my favorite one the day. I think the Giants around minus 125 is a very good play.
Yeah, no, I feel it. And I would also add, the Giants have a very bad bullpen. I'm going to be honest. It's been pretty bad this season, but it is not been worked very much over the last week or so with a lot of their starters going deep into games in their last couple series. So you do have a bit of an edge there, despite the fact that their bullpen isn't exactly impressive. It is well rested at the very least, which should be nice for Cobb backing him up as well. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us as we are bringing you these videos each and every weekday of this MLB regular season. So until we see you next, happy betting.